Today we're gonna be analyzing the Outlast PAX East demo, a very janky and early build of Outlast that released during PAX East and was practically lost to time up until recently. I hope you enjoy. We start off outside in the administrator block garden with our camcorder already out. Okay, so let me just start by saying you can't actually turn off night vision in-game here. And as someone who low-key has a fetish for pressing the F key, this is maddening. Whatever, we literally just continue up the ladder and basically mirror's edge our way right into the asylum through a conveniently broken window. Also super conveniently, the lamp breaks the second we enter, forcing us to whip out that camera with the night vision that's permanently stuck on. But no big deal, while night vision eats your battery, which is basically our ammo, we get a battery right in the first room. That's a huge difference from the full release of Outlast, where you have to wait a hot minute for your first one. Also, another wild difference between the Outlast final game and this PAX East demo is the battery counter. The final game shows you your max batteries in the HUD and hard limits you to 10 batteries, and batteries literally despawn if you have too many. This demo? It loves battery. It really loves them. You'll see more of battery hunting later on. As we squeeze through these very random shelves, we hit room A216. In the final game, this is where you get your first battery, but in this demo, it's our second. I popped into room A214, but spoiler alert, no battery, no document. As a matter of fact, notes and documents are MIA, totally unpresent in this demo version of Outlast. Moving along the hallway, we see two doors, one on the right, one on the left. Going left shows us a dead body. I crouched up to him and stuck my finger up his ass, and then I gave him a kiss on his bald head to check if he's alive, but nope. He was either in a super deep sleep or he was dead. Also, the toilets had no shit in them, which was low-key disappointing. Shit-filled toilets are a total staple of the Outlast series, chasing us from the first game in 2013 all the way to the Outlast trials. They could drop a game called Outlast: The Diarrhea Toilet Chronicles and it would still be lore accurate to Murkoff. We then enter room A211, where sadly the iconic currywurst from the final game is missing. But to make up for it, we snag 2 more batteries. Next, we jump up the vent, but rip, we don't get the funny guy screaming. Because his toilet was never locked by him in the first place. He's sadly unalived. Once we fall out the vent, we're landing in the library where... Yep, even in the PAX East demo, Red Barrels was absolutely not playing around. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is the OG first jump scare Red Barrels ever put in Outlast, and it's still probably the scariest and most recognizable, even though it's a screamer. Walking through the library, we find a dead soldier hung up like a pig on a stick. He's got some very scratchy and early dialogue, which was definitely just a scratch track.
They got out. The variants. You can't fight them. Have to hide. Can unlock the main doors from security control.
His main line stayed the same though. Leaving the library, we see what looks like a super thinned out and kinda jacked Christopher Walken. Wait, is that Christopher Walker? Anyways, he dips into room A205, leaving us all alone. So naturally, we hit the bathroom, where we are greeted by a hand sticking out of the toilet. Das war wohl ein Griff ins Klo. But next to the toilet hand, we get another battery. Jesus, is it never enough with the batteries? For a short demo that's just meant to show off Outlast, they're giving you a ridiculous amount. But here's what I think is the case. In this demo, you get 4 out of 20 batteries. 420. That sounds like a lot, but in the final game, 10 batteries gave you 10 reloads. Every reload just used up 1 battery, and you had a total of 10. Here it takes 4 batteries per reload, so all 20 batteries only give you 5 reloads. But because this is a recreation, we actually get unlimited reloads, so at the very least, for our version of the demo I'm gonna call it, this is irrelevant. We try to squeeze our way further into the asylum, only to get straight up yeeted out by... wait. Holy shit, Chris Walker is ripped as hell, oh my god. And he sounds like, well, shit. This is another case of Christopher Walker having unfinished voice acting. Back when this demo dropped, they didn't need proper dialogue yet. Same goes for Father Martin, they all just use scratch tracks. Miles too, by the way, you can tell from the audio of Miles getting tossed out of the window. This is where the biggest difference drops. We spawn in the basement, but a different basement. This is an unfinished version that popped up in multiple builds, including the July 19th, 2013 prototype build. The main breaker is in a totally different spot. Basically, the game swapped the electricity room for a storage room and put the main breaker, which is useless here since the objective didn't exist yet, in the first room right after the basement entrance. Our new objective is to return to the main floor, which, spoiler alert, is not happening. Anyway, we pick up more batteries, obviously, and we make our way into the basement hallway. We squeeze through some boxes and go into the room at the very end of the hallway, where we find... wait, 2 more batteries? Seriously? Regardless, we hit the other part of the basement hallway and find more batteries. Yeah. We go into the next room, which has the main breaker without the lever, and find 3 batteries. This demo might as well be called Outlast the Batteries. Oh shit, what the... Here he is again, Christopher Walker, and he's trying to eat my face while violently beating me up. I run around like a totally confused puppy and hide in one of the pump rooms, which in this demo is just an empty room. Christopher Walker, being the very smart man he is, checks under the bed, giving me a chance to start running. But instead of running the right way, I, as the big brain person I am, run into the second pump room that's missing a pump and pick up another battery. I'm gonna have battery nightmares, I swear. I then run out, go back the way I didn't come, my lack of writing skills is showing, but I'll just say, I ran back the way I came, picked up another battery from a blue barrel, not a red barrel. Yeah, thanks. I know, very original joke, very funny, right? As I then jump into a vent that's actually closed off in the final game. Coming out the other end, I drop down and open the door, where Christopher Walkings doesn't walk, but straight up rips my head off my torso. Game over. So what's the TLDR on the Outlast PAX East demo? It totally did its job as a demo and gave an amazing sneak peek at the masterpiece that Outlast became when it released in September of 2013. The differences are super interesting to see kind of, but a couple of things are just disappointing. First, the lack of the iconic currywurst we know from the final game, and second, the glaring issue of way too many batteries. I mean, seriously, for a game where you use night vision for like 2 to 3 minutes max, the amount of batteries is actually insane. In total, you get 15 batteries. I mean, go off, count for yourself. Regardless, this demo is a 7 out of 10. Wait, am I turning into IGN? And you should totally play it yourself. Link will be in the description. Don't forget to like, what? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to never miss a new video. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Like always, peace, and I hope you have a great day.